Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? It's so easy with Anchor.
Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use.
And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what we're doing right now by reading this ad. We struggled to find the right way to distribute our podcast, and Anchor made it quick, easy, and free. We're on platforms we had never heard of, and that's all thanks to Anchor doing the hard work.
So, if you have been thinking about starting your own podcast, head on over to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Spilling the Mad Tea. It's Kelly here with Rachel and Stephanie. Katie isn't able to join us today, which is a bummer because I miss her a lot. But how are you guys doing?
Doing swell. I just got home from work. I sat downtown Atlanta. Traffic went 1 mile in 30 minutes today. That has to be a record.
Ugh.
Yay.
Oh god. I don't know how you do that every day. I would just come home angry or arrive at work angry every single day.
Right. It's worse in the afternoon than it is in the morning.
Yeah.
This morning actually was kind of bad too, but it's okay. I feel okay. Stephanie, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I kind of had like a lazy day today, but my sister came over yesterday and we just started planning a Disney trip January. And so that's kind of fun to like be in the beginning stages of a vacation planning, but it's also super stressful because she's like, we have to figure out where we're going to eat because that dictates like where we're going to be on which days. And that dictates like what fast passes we can get. And like, it's just, I'm like not enjoying like having to think this far ahead. It's kind of annoying, but
It's kind of like snowballing.
yeah, these are first world problems and I'm going to Disney and it's nothing to complain about. I'll be fine.
Have y'all decided where you're staying, or do you not want to talk about that?
I have one night at the Polynesian and one night at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, but we're going to try, because that's what was
fancy.
available. Yeah, but we're hoping like someone will cancel for one of those so we can get like 2
Yeah.
consecutive nights in one hotel.
Yeah.
But if not, it ain't the end of the world.
Right?
That is like a pretty good distance to have to switch hotels, you know?
But I read on like some forums, I don't know if it's actually true, that like you can just call Bell Services in the morning and be like, hey, we're switching to Animal Kingdom Lodge today. And they'll like move your bags and put them in your new room for you.
Oh.
So you just go
What?
out and enjoy the park and just hop on the bus to your new hotel.
That is amazing.
Yeah, like I could be totally down for that.
That's pretty awesome.
Hmm. So I hope that's true. Kelly, what's new with you?
Nothing too much. I went to the library today and rented a bunch of movies and stuff to watch because
Yay!
thank you Stephanie for pointing out to me that I should get a library card because they have movies there.
Yeah, and you're paying for it in your taxes, so you might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah, totally true. So it's been like a weekly thing. I go and check out a bunch of movies and then watch them all, and then we can only check out movies for a week, but that's fine. I love it. It's great. I can't wait to watch all the things that I've had on my watch list forever that I just haven't got because I didn't want to buy them.
Yay for libraries.
Yeah. Go get a library card, people. So I went to the library, and then I had to stop at Joann's Fabrics and get some stuff for some secret projects that I'm working on. And then I've really been in like a wanting to experiment in my sketchbooks kind of phase. So I've been playing around with different art techniques and stuff like that. So then I came home and worked on that.
I loved what you did. Was it yesterday? Or I think
Yeah.
yesterday with like all the blues and golds. That was really pretty.
Yeah. You can tell that that's like my favorite colors because everything I've done lately is blue and gold.
You're a true Ravenclaw.
Yes. Today's topic was requested by a listener, Jessie. She wants some tips for getting through the various weather that you might encounter at the Disney parks. And when I started this outline, I was like, I don't really know if I'm going to have any tips for this. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I just never really thought about it. But I was actually able to come up with quite a lot of tips. So we'll talk about those. And we'll mainly be talking about Disney World, but I mean, these tips could kind of apply to any Disney parks. Just some of the attractions that we'll be talking about are Disney World specific, but whatever.
You guys are smart listeners. You can apply these tips to whatever park you're going to.
Yes, so true. So to kick it off, let's start with a segue about rainy days because I couldn't think of one. Anybody got anything?
Today it did not rain here. But you know where it does rain very often?
Is in Florida.
Central Florida.
Great, I love it.
I do not pack for Walt Disney World without packing some sort of rain gear.
Yeah.
Especially when traveling in the summer, but basically year round. I'm always packing either a poncho, a rain jacket, or an umbrella, sometimes all three, because you just never know.
Yeah, I bought a rain jacket specifically for going to Disney World. I literally never use it any other time, but it goes with me every single time we go on vacation, no matter what.
Plus, they're good to bring even if it's not raining. They're, like, nice to wear on, like, Splash Mountain if you don't feel like getting soaked.
Yeah, you should always take some kind of something or other on you with you to protect from water because it's just inevitable that you're going to get wet.
And take it with you. Don't buy it there. Pro tip, They are like $10 now for some plastic. They're cute, but not worth it.
Yeah, we usually go to Walmart or the Dollar Tree, and they have like they're like folded up really, really, really tiny, so they're easy to carry around with you. That's not the best solution for our planet, but it's convenient to carry around.
Also very, very cheap.
I mean, you could buy the plastic poncho and just don't throw it away. Just keep it and fold it back up and keep reusing it.
Yeah, or hand it off to another traveler about to go on Splash Mountain. That's what we do.
Definitely.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. Well, because you walk off and you're like ripping off your poncho, and they're like, "You can wear ponchos?" And you're like, "Yeah, here, have it. Enjoy it. It was $1."
Yeah, people always are like surprised when I wear my rain jacket or a poncho on the water rides, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is smart. I love this ride. It's one of my favorite rides, but I don't want to get soaking wet and walk around in wet clothes all day, so I'm gonna wear this."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm definitely a rain jacket kind of person, so I just take that along with me, and that helps a lot.
Speaking of like rain apparel, what's your strategy on your feet?
So what I do is if I know it's going to rain, but it's not like until the afternoon, I'll wear like my comfortable shoes that I want to spend most of the day in to begin with. And I'll take some sandals or flip-flops or something. And as soon as it starts raining, I'll put on my sandals, walk around in them while it's raining. And then when it stops raining and starts to dry up, I'll put my comfy shoes back on. My feet are ridiculous and they start to hurt like really bad quickly. So it's not like I can wear sandals all day. But like Chacos or flip-flops, if you're comfortable in those. I hate flip-flops, so I don't wear those. And then that saves my like actual shoes, which are usually tennis shoes, from getting soaking wet.
I was going to say, I absolutely loathe having like wet feet. Like there's nothing that makes my like skin crawl more than having wet socks and wet sneakers. I hate it. Like, I would so much rather wear flip-flops and have like wet feet because I'm like, I can go to the bathroom, I can get paper towels, I can dry my feet off. But there's not enough time to dry off a pair of sneakers on a Disney vacation. And it hurts the heck out of me.
Especially with all the humidity down there, your shoes are never going to dry off.
Never.
Yeah. I can't stand having wet feet. If I have like wet feet, socks, tennis shoes, I always feel like I'm going to get trench foot within like 30 minutes of my feet being wet and my skin's just going to start falling off. Completely irrational, but that's like a fear of mine, is that the skin on my feet is going to start falling off.
That and you get all pruny and it hurts.
Yeah.
I say like one last tip, like apparel wise, is I really try to avoid wearing like denim shorts if I know it's going to rain.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's like nothing like that chafing. Like I'll do leggings or like a dress because I feel like dresses and skirts will dry off quicker or they're not like sticking to your body as much. But denim jeans shorts are like,
yeah, you'll be picking them out of your crotch like every 2 seconds, and it's just not going to be fun.
And they take forever to dry, too. So no matter what you're wearing, my biggest tip for on a rainy day is do not leave the park. This is like prime time because so many guests are going to leave and you are going to have the best day of your vacation. If you just like maintain a positive attitude and embrace the rain and say, it's raining, we're here, we're still in Disney World, and everybody else is headed out, which means like wait times drop exponentially. Plus, the people who stick around are the ones who are also having fun in the rain. So it's like the best time.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Some of my like favorite Disney days of all time have been in the pouring rain.
In the rain.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you just kind of like, if you try to fight it, it's going to ruin your day. But if you embrace it and just go with the flow and like splash in the puddles and like continue to laugh through the circumstances, you're going to have a great time.
Yeah, and if you take our tips that we just gave you about what to wear and what to bring, you shouldn't be worried about being in the rain.
So if you do stay in the parks, what are some of your favorite things to do while it's raining?
On those rainy days when you're like, should I leave or should I not? Like Stephanie said, don't leave. You can go and watch some of the shows that you won't probably go to. One of my all-time favorites to see when it's raining is Carousel of Progress. Because on some of the days where I'm just like trying to go and get through all these other things, I love it, but I won't stop at it. So that's probably my most favorite to watch if it's raining.
Yeah, I'll watch Carousel of Progress on any days, rain or sunshine, because it's one of my favorites. But
right.
I think what always makes me giggle is the Monsters, Inc. laugh floor, and I hardly ever go over there and do that. So if it's raining and you're stuck in Tomorrowland, go check that out. And then
I love that.
I also love Mickey's PhilharMagic just because it's so cute and the smells that they pump out always smell really good.
Yeah, I see that every time I go.
Yeah, I really love going to the Seas Pavilion when it's raining because there's no like windows inside, so you kind of forget what the weather's doing outside, and you're with all of the other wet animals, and you're like, yeah,
we fit right in together.
Everything's all right. You just...
It's huge, so you won't feel like you're being like overcrowded and like everybody in the park's getting out of the rain by going in there. There's 2 levels and multiple rooms and stuff, so that's a really good spot.
Yeah, just chill and watch the sea turtles, and life is good.
Yep. I have spent many an hour sitting and watching the dolphins in there.
And the cuttlefish. I don't know if they still have the cuttlefish, but I think Katie and I were there one time.
They were all gone. We looked the other day. We were like, let's go say hello to our cuttlefish friends. And they were all gone.
That's
on
so
the college
sad.
program, I think Katie and I spent like probably at least an hour just watching the cuttlefish, and because they would like change their colors and do all kinds of stuff. It was really cool. You could also, Katie would probably recommend this, spending time in the Land Pavilion. Just get on Living with the Land and just ride that over and over and over again.
Right?
Or go wait in the super long line for Soarin', or go eat some food. Sunshine's easy.
Sure.
It's pretty good. So there's lots of places to spend time in Epcot. I mean, you could go watch all the shows in the World Showcase countries. I don't think I've ever done that. I haven't seen all of them, at least. So that would take up some time.
I think the rain is also a great excuse to wait in those long lines that you wouldn't normally like bother with. Like if you're like, I am not waiting 3 hours for Flight of Passage, but it's raining and I'm right here. Like that's 3 hours out of the rain if I hop in line.
Right? Why not?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely want to find a queue that's like all indoors because you don't want to be waiting in the rain. But
yes, definitely. Like I would not use this as a time to ride the Tomorrowland Speedway. Not going to be a great experience.
I don't think I'd ride that ever.
But Space Mountain is a great ride to go on in the rain.
Pirates of the Caribbean, that queue's all in line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that queue
is
all
all in line.
That makes sense. That queue
sure
is
is
indoors.
It's a small world, kind of takes a while to go through. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On the other side of the fence, you could just say, screw it, and embrace the rain, and go on rides like Splash Mountain or Cali River Rapids. And just say, I'm gonna get soaked. I can go change back at the hotel later, but like, I'm here. I'm getting wet. Let's just go for it.
I've done that so many times.
Yeah.
It's like, Splash Mountain sounds like a good plan. Let's go now.
Yeah, there was a time, it was Katie and Rachel and I on our college program, and we had gone to Animal Kingdom, and we were like, I think it just started raining, and we're like, oh, should we go back to the apartment? And we're like, no, we're already soaking wet because none of us took a rain jacket that day because we were 20 years old and didn't really care about it. So we just kind of embraced being soaked to the bone because this was a huge storm. And we ran through the Animal Kingdom parking lot to Rachel or Katie's car. I can't remember because my truck was always broken down. And we were like, oh, let's just go to Hollywood Studios. So we went to Hollywood Studios. It was still pouring down rain. We just walked through the park. We went and rode Great Movie Ride. And when we got out of the car, there were huge water puddles in the seat from us just like drip drying off. And we took a picture in the bathroom. I think the bathroom before you go like into the turnstiles. So we'll have to post that along with this episode because we are just soaked and having the best time.
Oh, it was so fun. We totally embraced the rain that day.
Well, I think you said you were in Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. I feel like those two parks and Epcot are like not the best in the rain because everything is really spread out. Like to go from one pavilion in Epcot to another, you're in the rain for a while. So when it like I know there's like rain in the forecast, my go-to is usually the Magic Kingdom because you can kind of like hop from like cover to cover and the rides are all closer together and you've just got more coverage, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, you're not like you don't have to like make this like grand sprint from like yeah. Like I just remember being stuck in Innoventions trying to make it to we had like a fast pass for Soarin' and we were like we've got to run from Innoventions to the land. And we're like, we're not that far. Like, we could be farther, but it's still like 6 inches of water on the ground. And it starts to like pool up a little bit when it like really like rains really hard when it does that like flash flooding. And you're like, you're basically like swimming in between buildings.
Yeah, I feel like Animal Kingdom is probably the worst park to be in on a rainy day. Like, if you know that it's going to be raining, maybe pick a different park because most of the things in Animal Kingdom are outdoors, and there's a big, gigantic distance between everything. So that's probably the least awesome place to be when it's raining.
Oh, also, speaking of the Magic Kingdom, so a lot of times when it rains, they try not to, but occasionally they do have to cancel some of the entertainment. So they might cancel the parades or the fireworks. But Magic Kingdom has an alternative to the like daytime parade, and they'll run a rainy day cavalcade. And it's adorable. And it's like kind of rare that you get to watch it. So if you are there on a day where it's raining and they tell you the parade's going to be canceled, like ask the cast members if they're doing the rainy day cavalcade because it's really, really cute.
I watched a video of it and it looked adorable because they're all like wearing their rain jackets.
After you watch a cute little rainy day show, you can check on your My Disney Experience app and see if they have any table service reservations for the day. And that'll take up some time. And what better way to do that than eat food?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if it's like during the summer and you know that there's going to be a rain shower every single afternoon. Try to make some table service reservations that will take up all the time that the storm is brewing out there.
Like I needed an excuse to eat.
Yeah. You can also go do some shopping. The gift shops will most likely be filled with other guests waiting out the storm, but you could venture into the smaller, less traveled gift shops. I'm thinking of like the ones at the very beginning of Main Street over to the right-hand side. Like, I can't remember the name of it. The Chapeau, maybe? I can't remember. Anyway, don't hold me to that. But there's usually less people over there, so you could go kind of wait out the storm in there. The post-ride gift shops, they'll likely fill up with guests who are in line for attractions and didn't realize it was storming outside. So they're like, oh, man, it's raining, so we'll just hang out in here. So those might fill up pretty quickly.
That's a good tip.
I love to shop, so if that gives me any more of an excuse to shop, I'm going to do it.
You can always get your stuff held until the end of the day and go pick it up, or I think they also send it to your resort too, so you don't even have to carry it around in the rain. You can just have it sent off wherever you want it to be sent.
Very
Yeah.
true. So my last tip for rainy days is to not like plan your day around like nighttime fireworks, because occasionally they do have to cancel for weather. So if it's been like raining all day, I just like wouldn't like be like, oh no, I gotta stick around until 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is when the fireworks are going off. Fireworks are gonna be like the great end of this great day. Like I would lower my expectations a little bit and say like, oh, if they go off, great. If not, I'll have to see them next time. But I wouldn't, if you're like sticking around the park for an extra 2 hours just to see the fireworks, I would like reevaluate that if it's been a terrible rainy day.
And you can usually ask a cast member and they could tell you whether or not there's going to be fireworks. Or they might say, I'm not sure, you'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I feel like it's usually like a last minute decision because I know they want to do it. So they'll like hold off on canceling them as long as they can.
So let's go from rainy days to cold days, which are sometimes few and far between down in Orlando.
Right,
but,
I was about to say, that hadn't happened a lot.
when they do happen, they're pretty cold.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really go in any hot times anymore. Like, I haven't visited in the summer in a very long time, so I usually have to deal with it being a little bit chillier than normal, but that's okay, because we got the tips for you guys.
Chips.
Tips.
Some of the tips are to do with food, duh. And there's a lot of different like warm drinks, warm treats that you can choose from that you probably wouldn't want to eat, dead ass of June. You don't want any hot coffee in June, at least I don't. Also no hot chocolate because no, it's too hot. But if it's cold, then go on and get your hot coffee. Joffrey's coffee if you want to, be for real.
Joffrey's coffee if you want to make Katie and Rachel happy.
Yeah. Here's your fun fact about Rachel is Rachel had her one Starbucks occasion a year on Saturday, so there you go.
Did you get a pumpkin spice?
I sure did, and it was so good. But you can also get hot chocolate on these cold days, which that's probably more my speed. I'd probably go for the hot chocolate.
I feel like they sell hot chocolate everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Like anywhere that there's a Coke machine, I feel like they're also making hot chocolate.
Right. They're smart for that, though.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not too terribly expensive, I don't think.
No, I feel like it's always like pretty reasonably priced. And you're like, oh yeah, okay, I can drink 5 hot chocolates today to keep me warm. Yep, that sounds like a good plan.
I was going to say, Jerry doesn't drink tea or coffee, so he always goes for the hot chocolate. So I'm glad that they have that option there.
Or you can just embrace your basic bitch and get you that pumpkin spice in any part. Because, it's always going to be there.
Or you can get your giant size of your face hot cinnamon roll at Gaston's Tavern, which I do that anytime I'm there. But it might be fun to get it while it's
I just feel like it's so cozy. That's like such a cozy food to eat in the cold times.
That whole like atmosphere in there is just cozy to me. I love that place.
Definitely hit up Gaston's Tavern. Maybe not get a LeFou's brew because that's frozen.
I would do that. I would do that.
Yeah, so our next tip is to wear layers. It may be quite chilly in the morning and then warm up in the afternoon sun, so you definitely don't want to be stuck in like a long sleeve shirt with nothing to cool you down. So definitely wear layers. I suggest like a t-shirt, a sweater, and a lighter jacket just to be safe on those really, really cold days. If it's just like chilly, you might be able to get away with a t-shirt and a sweater.
I remember riding Kilimanjaro safaris on like a particularly cold day and like my face feeling like it was going to freeze off. So if you're headed to the animal kingdom and think you might be going on the safari or like another ride where you're going to be outside and that cold wind is going to be like hitting your face, I would also suggest just like a light scarf to break that up. But at nighttime, like in January and February, it is cold. Like I bring gloves, like dollar store gloves that just like roll up real small. You're not going to get like upset if you lose them, but they're just nice to have in your pocket. Because some of those nights can be really, really cold, especially if you're sticking around to like park close to see the fireworks or extra magic hours. I don't like being cold. So I'd rather have too many layers with me and just keep them in my backpack all day.
Yeah, totally.
This is where I thrive at Disney, is in like February and March, because I'm just like, this is amazing.
Mhm.
I literally take no jacket because I'm just naturally hot all the time. And I'm thriving. I'm living my best life. That this is the greatest decision I've ever made, is to go down there at that time of year.
The humidity adds another aspect to the cold that you might not expect, especially if you live somewhere where it's really dry in the winter, like I do. It snows and it's quite cold where I live. And I can usually handle the cold really well because it's dry and there's sunshine, so I can get into like pockets of sunshine and warm up. But not in Orlando.
Right? It's something different. It's terrifying how like cold 50
humidity.
degrees can feel. Yeah.
Like I can't handle the cold in Orlando because of the humidity. It like wraps around you like this cold, wet blanket, and it's just disgusting. So if it even like freezing point here, I'm like, oh, this is okay. I can do this. But when it's 60 degrees in Orlando, I'm like, this is too cold and I hate it.
Yeah. Plus you see all of like the Floridians in like parkas and snow boots, and you're like, oh, it's cold, and it starts messing with your head, and you're like, is it colder than it is? Am I cold? How cold is it? You're like, is it getting off the snow? Because they literally wear like parkas down to their ankles, and we were like, what is going? You're like okay in a sweatshirt, but it'll like mess with your head.
Yeah, I never really noticed the humidity cold because I used to live in the South and I was used to it, but since moving out here and then going back, I'm like, this is disgusting. It's just
sucks.
Like, it's like this cold, wet blanket. It's just nasty. I don't like it. But if you take enough layers and take a backpack to carry those layers around in, that's the way you have to handle it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if you, like, look at the weather forecast and you're like, oh, I know what that temperature feels like, just pretend it's telling you it's going to be a little bit colder than that. Like, if it says 50, it might feel like 40, just with that humidity. You're right. It is like a cold, wet blanket, just like slapping every time you step outside. Yeah.
Ugh, gross. And then like I can feel the humidity in the hotel rooms too now.
Yeah, that's weird.
I notice it so much more now, and I'm like, how do people live like this? When I lived like that for 23 years and never paid attention to it. So from some cold, let's head back to some rainy weather with hurricanes. I've had a lot of experience with hurricanes, but not at Disney, so I don't have too many crazy tips to go with this. I mean, the parks may close, so you just have to keep your eye on that.
I know that I remember when was that hurricane? I don't know, it was maybe 2-3 years ago, something like that I followed the Bucket List family on Instagram, and they were doing their 30 days of Disney thing that they did. Yeah. And they were stuck down there during that hurricane, and it was just like, I remember them like talking about it and like but they were like super chill, and they were just like, everybody's doing all these wonderful things to make sure that, everything's running smoothly and it's not chaotic and things like that. So Disney knows what they're doing when a hurricane come around.
Yeah, well, that especially speaks to, I think, the cast members who volunteer for the Hurricane Rideout team.
Yeah.
These cast members will stay in the resorts with you like 24/7, making sure you're having fun, making sure you're feeling safe. They really go like above and beyond during these times to make sure that whatever hurricane is out there is not ruining your experience. So even if the parks close, a lot of times characters come to the hotels and they'll like be in the lobbies or they'll be in the dining areas, just really like enhancing your experience. And I just think that's great that they do that. It's so fun. So if you like, Disney always makes it really easy to cancel your reservation. If there's like a hurricane coming, like they don't want you to be there unsafe. But also by you canceling your reservation, you're kind of freeing up a room for a local to come in and stay on Disney property. I know a lot of the locals will come because they feel safe in in the hotel structures that are really like built for hurricanes. Maybe they might feel safer there than they do in their homes. So like, I feel like even during a hurricane, there's still a lot of people on property and cast members making sure that everyone's safe and taken care of.
Yeah, totally. from what I've heard, I mean, like I said, I've never experienced it. They do a great job. Updates can be given to you through notices on your hotel room door or on the Walt Disney World specific TV channels. So you're never like in the dark, even if the power goes out.
Hey.
You'll be given notifications like all the time of what's going on and what to expect and everything. They do special things with food or have food available so that you won't go hungry, but you can always have food kept in your room. And then I have a little PSA about the hurricanes, but Rachel, did you have anything to add to this?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So in my opinion, I would not take a trip to Walt Disney World if I knew there was a hurricane coming and I could reschedule my trip. Most of those tips were for people who are already on their Disney vacation and the storm is like just coming and they can't get anywhere. Like I said, as I'm from the South, so I grew up along the coast and had experience with several hurricanes. And while the storm itself may pass quickly, the aftermath is something that a lot of people are not prepared to deal with. There could be flooding, downed trees, power lines, and that may inhibit your travel to and from the airport. Or if you're driving, you may not be able to get very far on the interstates or the roads or anything like that. And you might be stuck in Orlando until that stuff can be cleared. And being stuck in Orlando or at Walt Disney World might not seem like the worst thing, but there are some people who just need or want to get home as quick as possible. So basically, that's something you have to assess on your own and make the best decision for you and your party. Disney World will always be there, and it isn't worth risking your life or the lives of the cast members that have to work during these storms. That's it.
Point well made.
That's my spiel on hurricanes.
On a sunnier note, are we ready
Nice.
to talk about those sunny days at Disney?
Yeah, let's end it on a sunshiny note.
Yay!
So for me, I avoid making trips as much as possible during the hottest parts of the year.
Same.
The last time I was there during the summer might have been for our college program. I can't remember exactly. But I feel like the hottest parts of the year are like June to September. Do you guys agree with that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
now. Even now.
Yeah.
October the 1st. It's really
Yeah.
hot.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
So it's just hot most of the time.
It said it was like in the nine. It said I think it got up to 100 when I was there, but I didn't feel like I was melting. When I went and met Katie, I think in June, I felt like I was melting. I was dripping in sweat, and I was soaking wet. You would have thought I'd been caught in the pouring rain, but it was just sweat. And yeah, I thought I was gonna like burst into flames or melt into a puddle.
And that coming from you, who just constantly wants to be warm, like,
Yeah.
that's really hot.
Last week it was nice. It said it got up to 100
Yeah.
degrees, but it just felt like nice hot.
Yeah. Fun fact, it is hotter in Atlanta now than it is in Orlando.
Huh.
By like 5 some odd degrees.
Gross.
They only got up to 88 today. We got up to 93
Ugh.
on October the 1st.
If the only time that you can visit during the summer, which I totally understand that being like the only time that works for some people, just be prepared to feel like you're literally walking through the devil's armpit.
Yep.
It's bad. It's nasty.
It's not fun. I do not appreciate going during the hot because I'm hot all the time. But if you do go, drink a lot of water. They give it away for free. Don't not have water because you're going to pass out and die. And that's just not good.
And then your ghost will haunt Disney World for the rest of the
Yeah,
year.
for the rest of your days.
Although if I was gonna get stuck haunting something, like
Yeah.
That
I
would probably be
definitely
the
wanna
way to go.
haunting Disney World. Yeah,
That'd be
for
the
sure.
ideal location.
I would be like the happiest ghost ever.
Yeah, when I was just drinking around the world with Katie and Cameron, and we made a point to like get a cup of water like every 2 alcoholic drinks, and that was
That
kind
is
of
how
our.
you know you are grown.
But I would say, like, just make it a point every time you walk past a quick service restaurant, just say, "Can I have a cup of water?" It's going to be completely free, and half the time they have them sitting out there ready for you because they know it's hot and they don't want you passing out. It's way more work for them. So they are more than happy to give you free cups of water.
This is how I kind of gauge it. Is like anywhere you see like a fountain drink place, like the water actually tastes good. It's not like from the faucet water. And so like Florida water's not the best, but anywhere
tastes like
you see
farts.
like it's not good. So anywhere you see like a fountain drink machine, like that you can get Coke and stuff at, typically that's where the good water is. So be my guest and get you some water there. And also at any of the first aid stations that you see anywhere, they also will give water there too.
Yeah, they have like the big water cooler things at the first aid stations. And one time on the CP, I think I was at Hollywood Studios, and I had a blister on my heel, so I had to go get a Band-Aid. And the nurse there made me drink 3 paper cups of water just to be sure that like nothing bad was going to happen to me.
That's smart though.
Right, it's much more paperwork for them if you leave and you get dehydrated. It's better for everyone.
They don't know that you just drank a whole bottle before you got in there. It's like, I don't want to deal with you, so drink some water first.
You're not bothering anybody by asking for a free cup of water.
Right.
Don't do that. Cooling devices, I feel like, are kind of like a newer thing. Not super new, but they're becoming more popular. They make those like cooling towels that you like wet and they stay cool because they're a cooling towel, and you can wrap that around your head or your neck. And I feel like that would really help. I've never used one, but that would help. And then there's like little misting fans that have like the water bottle and then the fan with the motor that mists it. I always like those. And even when I'm in like a queue and there's like this little kid with one spraying it everywhere, and then their parents are like, "Ah, don't do that." I'm like, no, keep doing that.
Yeah.
Please keep doing that.
One of those. Keep doing that.
Yeah, you just stand like right behind them so that like like all of the excess will hit you. Mm-hmm.
They purchased it, and you can use their purchase, not your own.
Yeah, Katie's mom bought their whole family those cooling towels that trip that they went on this summer. And I was like, do those things really work? But they did. They were like, this is amazing. And there's water fountains all over the parks. And in a lot of like the ride queues. Mm-hmm. So like when we were waiting for Tower of Terror, there was a water fountain. And like everyone in line who had those cooling towels was going and like wetting them and putting them on. And you could just tell they seemed much more comfortable than I did without a cooling towel. So we talked about treats that you'll like eat or drink to warm you up. Do you guys have a favorite snack that you'll go to when it is really hot to kind of like take your mind off the heat and cool you down and recenter you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Steph, but it's a chocolate-covered banana.
Mm-hmm.
I think this last trip I was there, it was one of the warmer days, and I was like, I want something chocolate and cold, but also fruit. And it was like, it took me a while for like a light bulb to go off my head that, oh yeah, a chocolate banana. That's everything that I want. And they are perfect.
Yeah, I always think the chocolate's going to be like super melty on like those really hot days. And it never is. It's magical.
Yeah.
I've never had one.
I feel like the banana like thaws from inside you and continues to cool you off after you've eaten it. It's just,
I
it's so
can't
good.
have ice cream, so that's like my favorite treat in the world is a chocolate covered banana.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is an iced matcha latte from Starbucks, just because I like matcha lattes, and then you can get it iced, and then boom, best of both worlds. And you get the energy of the matcha, so it's great.
I choose to get a Le Fuse Brew.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
My little special way, and I'm sure these people hate to see me coming, but you know, whatever. It's my favorite. Oh, I'm so glad that they make those. Don't know what I did without them for so long.
I just feel like I'm a happier person with Dole Whip in my belly.
Girl,
So,
yeah.
like, in, like, the heat of the day, and I'm like, this is getting unbearable. I go get me a Dole Whip, and everything's better. You're like, you can, like, reset
Yeah.
with a cold snack.
So good.
Yeah, so if it's like 5 million degrees and you're just getting real angry.
Go get you a cool snack.
Now, I don't know if you can take that cool snack inside anywhere. Sometimes maybe, but maybe not. But if not, you can still go and watch some shows just like you did in the rain, but go to the ones that are inside and take some time and cool yourself off so you're not so sweaty anymore.
Hall of Presidents has some bomb AC. As does the American Adventure. Me and Cameron just stood outside the doors the other day, and we're like, no, we don't need to go in. We're just mooching off your air conditioning. Thank you. You could feel it was cooling you off from outside. It was great.
Yeah, if you can feel everyone in your party getting angry about being outside, just go take a break and watch a show. Mm-hmm. Let your kids take a nap in the Hall of Presidents and just reset along like the snacks do. Just kind of reset and lose the hot head.
I just had this thought, and it's not even Disney related, but I had the thought of when we went to Hershey Park and it was so damn hot,
Right?
and we were fucking
You remember how many
pissed.
people passed out in that roller coaster
Yeah.
line?
That was insane. But we were like brand new people when we got to the water park section.
All we did was put our freaking feet in the water, and it was just
Yeah.
like, we love each other again, because let me tell you, we probably all hated each other that day.
I think that was like top 10, one of the hottest days I've ever experienced in my entire life.
I would also suggest that if like cool snacks and air conditioning isn't doing it, another great way to reset and feel like cool off is by taking a swim break. Nearly every hotel in Orlando has a pool.
Right?
And if you don't want to like break up a park day by going to the pool, but you have time in your vacation schedule, you could also spend a day at a water park, which I always kind of forget they exist because I very rarely do them. But they do exist, and they are lots of fun and a
They're
great way
so
to spend
fun.
a really hot day.
I have not been to a water park at Disney since we worked there because they were free.
Yeah, I haven't been since my birthday on the CP. So 8 years ago.
They're so fun, though. So do it. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Do it.
So my last tip, which has been hammered into my head by my mother every time I've gone out in the sunshine, put some sunscreen on. There's so many people who just skip over applying sunscreen, and it just blows my mind. And I can't fathom not wanting to not get sunburned. Like, even on days when it's not super sunny, you're going to be outside a lot. Slap some sunscreen on. It takes a minute at most. And put sunscreen on your children, too. Don't forget that they also sunburn, and sunburn is no fun, and is so easily prevented. So put the gosh darn sunscreen on. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Rachel, I feel like Rachel never puts sunscreen on.
I don't. I was about to say, okay, Kelly, I'll put my sunscreen on.
I mean, do you want skin cancer? Like, what?
No.
What? It takes a minute to help prevent skin cancer, and people just don't do it, and I don't get it.
And I just don't do it. I'm one of those that just don't do it.
Have fun peeling all your skin off after a week of burning, terrible misery. Thank you for listening to me rant about sunscreen.
So I just have like a side note for after the sun goes down and you're no longer in danger of sunburn. I worked for a summer out in Disneyland. I did a college program out there. And everyone's like, oh, Southern California, always great weather. Except when the sun goes down. It's fucking freezing. Like in the middle of July, and it was like 100 degrees all day. Suddenly at night, you're like, I need sweatpants. So my tip is to just like bring a light jacket if you're going to Disneyland in the summer, because it gets colder than you think at night.
Or if you're going to Disneyland in November, but you're coming from Disney World, be prepared for it to be a lot colder and a lot rainier
Oh
than
my
you would
God,
expect.
that was awful.
We have firsthand experience of it being freezing in
Freezing.
November.
And had no
in Disneyland.
jackets.
Freezing and raining. Yeah, I think we drank a lot of hot chocolate on that trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I did not take not one jacket or anything. I had some Toms and some jeans. And my jeans was wet. My Toms was wet. I was wet. Cold.
I think I had to buy a pair of gloves and a scarf there.
You
Which,
did.
Disney prices, I probably spent like $50 on this stupid
Right.
scarf and a pair
Worth
of gloves.
it.
But I had to do it because it was freezing.
So biggest tip of this podcast is check the weather before your Disney vacation.
Yeah.
Right.
If you take nothing else away from this episode, put on sunscreen and check the weather. There you go.
Right. And just embrace it for what it is and have a damn good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
No matter what the weather's like, you're still in the most magical place on earth, and you're going to have a great time.
Yeah, so we hope that you all enjoyed today's episode and learned some new tips to help you weather Disney. If you've got some tips and that we didn't share, I'm going to say that again. If you've got some tips that we didn't share, we'd love to hear them. And you can always email them to us at spillingthemadtea@gmail.com.
And you can show us your funny pictures of you, I don't know what word to use, but show us your funny pictures of you weathering Disney on Instagram and Facebook at Spilling the Mad Tea.
And tweet us at Spilling Mad Tea.
Yes, and thank you to Jesse for suggesting this topic. Hopefully we got some kind of, you got something out of this episode, hopefully. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye.
Ta-ta.
Bye!